We are finally on our way to the boatyard in Grenada. A look of disapproval from the flight attendant with instructions to stop filming. I had 2 bags full of boat stuff, about 80 pounds of gear, and the bags weighed each about 10 pounds. I even left some items behind because my bags were going to be overweight. It was 4 months since we were last on Cabo, and I was excited to get on board and start doing some projects and getting the boat shipshape. We had a long list of things to accomplish, and I was uncertain on how much we would actually be able to do, given the heat, humidity, and our physical ability to do the work. Leaving Miami for Grenada. We are on approach to land in Grenada. We are excited to be here, but also tired. It's a long travel day from California. I was the last person out of the airport, as I had to pay duty on items for the boat. We picked up our rental car from Enterprise and drove to Clarke's Marina in Grenada. Honestly, the camera is on and in my pocket, again. Entering the boat for the first time in 4 months, it was nice to see there was no mold or mildew, bugs, or any of that kind of stuff. Quite pleasantly surprised. I had left 2 bags of charcoal open in the boat to act as a desiccant against mold, mildew, and insects and such. Seemed to do the job.
Are these tools in here?
That's line.
Oh, lines.
Yeah.
Still want them inside the cabin?
Yeah, it was time to unpack. And by unpacking, I mean just empty the bags and lay stuff all over the boat, because essentially that's what we did. We are unpacked now, and this is now an official work zone. This is the state of the boat until just before we launch. Complete. Project 1. While we were away, the bottom got sanded, an epoxy barrier coat was applied, as well as Seahawk 77 bottom paint. The sail drives got a treatment as well, and we will paint the propellers with egg whites. I think the new bottom paint job looks terrific, and I'm doing a walk around just to film it for prosperity's sake. Here you can see the vinyl graphics on the side. There's a gap about midships, and at the front the vinyl is rounded. We will repair all of that. First casualty, broken toenail. A brand new bottom paint job, looked wonderful. However, the raw water pickups had too much paint collected over the years, and so the openings needed clearing out so that the water could get into the boat, or into the systems I should say, properly. While it's more important that the boat is properly maintained and reliable, having a boat that looks good has a pride of ownership, and that's also important to me. So now we're going to work on the stripes on the side of the boat. The vinyl stripes were in bad shape, and they needed some attention. The original plan was to remove them all and put new stripes on, but it took an extreme amount of time to make a little bit of progress, and while it wasn't hard, it was very time consuming. We had the 3M eraser wheel, which did help, but it mostly melted the vinyl and splattered it all over the place, and so there was a 2-step cleanup process. I found that it took me about 1 hour to take 1 linear foot of vinyl stripe off the boat. This was not going to do. After a few days of contemplation, the new plan was to do a repair, not a replacement. The dinghy needed some attention. Here, Brian has taken the burrs off the propeller. We glued down one of the rubber stripes, took the rust off the steering wheel, repaired the leaks in the hull, and all repairs were successful. We can only hope that people will respect and not smoke on our boat. As this is now a U.S. Coast Guard documented vessel, here is our official number. Brian is removing all the rust from the stainless steel and from the fiberglass. After the toenail mishap, I started wearing shoes. While the bottom and the sail drives were primed and painted, the propellers were not at my request. So now we're sanding off the barnacles and such, and we are going to paint the propellers with egg whites. Egg whites are almost indestructible when the egg white is dried. Alright, starboard battery, 2.3 volts, 2.2 volts. Dead. This is even worse. An ultra anchor with a little bit of water became a bird bath for a little bird in the boatyard. This is what happens when one gets up too early. A very nice sunrise over the bay, getting up to start the workday. The pulpit seats are in bad shape, so I made new ones to replace these. It's time to install the new pulpit seats. First off, going to open up the windows here, let some air blow through the salon. Now pushing the extension cord out the front windows so I can have power to drill the holes for the new seat. It's a pretty straightforward job. There are 4 screws to remove. Install the new pulpit seat, drill 4 new holes, and install the 4 new screws. I had the wrong tool a couple of times, and then I had to get a different tool that was skinnier to fit inside the hole. So all in all, I ended up doing 6 sit-ups to get the first seat changed out. Plus drilling the holes, of course, which is not on film. New and improved pulpit seat. The starboard one is going to be installed. These are the old ones and the new one. A small difference, but a huge difference. As we are on the hard, we have to climb a ladder to get on the boat and use a ladder to get off the boat. Getting on and off the boat requires that we go slow to avoid any possible injury. We had drained the gas tank 4 months ago, but now we need gas for the dinghy because we're going to launch in a few days. So we're off to the gas station for gas. We've loaded up the car and I'm walking back to the hotel room. It's nice to stretch my legs a little bit after working on the boat, and Brian's driving the car back to the room. We would start early and stop midday when it got too hot to work, and use that opportunity to run errands and pick up things that we needed for the boat. And then when the sun started to set, we'd go back out to the boat and work some more until the sun went down. Marina is in walking distance of a nice little dinghy dock and a restaurant. The roads in Grenada are quite narrow, and we are driving on the left side of the road. I was surprised at how well I adapted to these new driving conditions. At Clarke's Court Marina, they have 4 rooms available for rent. They're quite cozy and comfortable. They have a small little kitchen with a microwave and a refrigerator. There's a balcony that overlooks the bay, and it's very convenient, close to the boat and parking for the rental car.
So here we are putting the protective coating of egg whites on the propellers, and egg whites works amazingly well. If you've ever tried to get it off the concrete after it dries, it's nearly impossible. Keeps the barnacles off. Thank you, Brian. Got the steering wheel all cleaned up from the rust. Got the little pads glued down. And hopefully we got those repaired.
These repairs were successful as the dinghy no longer leaked after putting the flex seal in the joints there.
It's an old wooden planked boat. Has nothing to do with what we're doing. But you gotta have an appreciation for where we came from and where we are. Full keel. Rudder's protected by the keel. Many moons ago, I cocked the bottom similar to this. It's got telephone poles for masts. It's pretty cool.
We installed a new bridle with a new bridle hook.
New bridle.
That's the old bridle.
Okay, we're changing out the deck organizer. This is what it looks like up here. Those all have to come out. And then we have to put this back in.
Installed non-skid tape on the steps and on the rooftop. Brian is installing new cleats on the mast. The Harbor Freight rivet gun did not work at all, so we bought a local rivet gun and that worked perfectly. Time to install the new trampolines. At first inspection they seemed a little too short, but once we got the Dyneema lines on there and laid it all out, it fit perfectly. As these windows fold inward, when it rains, water comes into the boat. The newly installed gutter helps.
New gutters, no water coming in. Awesome.
We are coming up on my most favorite roundabout. 3 old used truck tires. This roundabout is inexpensive, effective, and indestructible. Ace Hardware had a good selection of tools and such. What's interesting is that all these consumables are behind glass, locked glass, which indicates there might be a lot of petty theft going on in the neighborhood. We went to Budget Marine to get 2 new engine start batteries. The staff there was quite helpful and got us all taken care of.
Yesterday, Brian and I changed out 2 impellers on the engines. The impeller is designed for a puller, and there's threads on the inside on one side, but not the other side. So when it's properly installed, you just put the puller in as so, screw it in, it pushes it right off the shaft. Yesterday, both impellers were installed backwards, so we had to pry them out.
Of course, they never crack when you walk the green.
Come on.
We put multiple coats of egg whites on the propellers. I think 4 or 5 coats. That should do a good job of keeping the marine growth off of the underwater hardware.
All right, so we've already put 1 coat of egg whites on the propeller. Now we're going to do some more.
That's enough work for this episode. Come on back next time. We have a lot more work to do. Thanks for watching.